In a world where technology is rapidly advancing, where the power of robotics, artificial intelligence is transforming industries, where the future of innovation is unfolding before our very eyes, comes the gathering of the year. The CHIETA Robotics AAE Symposium. Step into the future. Discover the art of automation. Welcome to CHIETA Robotics IA Symposium.
Thank you, Program Director. And I was saying to my colleagues that the reason I was looking down is because I was writing my speech and taking notes. But thank you for that warm welcome, Prof. Firstly, I think our hosts, Mr. Langa Zulu and team at AlgoAtWorks Academy, Prof. Adigun from Uni Zulu, Dr. Ellison, Tandeka Ellison, CEO of the Moses Kotane Institute, and the CHIETA team, who is present here, including our regional staff based in Ethekwini, and then we have Mr. Ashvir Isri, who's our executive here as well. You know, when we were driving through to the venue, Rajan was telling me that Langa and his team move with speed. You know, you can't keep up. And my team knows that one of my vices is that I'm impatient by nature. So things must move. We must move quickly. We will iterate and improve. So it was really a perfect fit between AlgoAtWork and CHIETA in terms of this collaboration. But I also said to him that, you know, we're coming with our suits and ties. Don't be surprised if you see Langa with his T-shirt and jeans, because this is the new world. This is the new way of doing things. And again, I thought we should have maybe put on our purple CHIETA T-shirts to come to this venue. But agility is, in fact, a key success factor in a world that is increasingly becoming hyper-digitalized. And so we see this increasing artificial intelligence and automation just really affecting every aspect of our lives. Tseka is right. I don't know where he is, but I think I really loved his input there. I see him at the back. Digital workers often lack core skills. We refer to them as soft skills, but they're actually core skills, such as communication skills. I would add entrepreneurial skills. Because just because you are a good robotics engineer, it doesn't mean you can run your own robotics company. You require a specific set of skills for that. And so the more we digitize, the more there is a higher premium on human skills. And we're going to see that a lot in the workplace. Because you can have 10 data scientists, but if they're all pulling in different directions, you have no results. So you need leadership with emotional intelligence and human skills to bring them together, working towards a common goal. Many years ago, I used to lead the National Youth Development Agency, and we employed a framework that says youth are assets. Youth are leaders in society. There are three contending social perspectives globally. One says that youth are consumers, so youth are a market. Many of our corporates adopt this approach of youth as a market to be exploited. So you sell products. Young girls spend about 9 billion rand on cosmetics and various other products. And that's because corporate South Africa, unfortunately, the dominant narrative is that youth are consumers. The second perspective, which is also very dominant in our society, is that youth are problems. They take drugs, they engage in alcohol, they are victims in society. This is unfortunately a dominant narrative in society, which we need to change this narrative. We need to see youth as assets, as leaders in society. And so to the parents of Langa Zulu, Mr. Zulu and Mrs. Zulu, you should be very proud of the leader that you have produced in society. I think we should be really proud. Langa says, I am leading. It's not true. He is leading. I am supporting. So that's the perspective that we've always taken. So our role really as a CHIETA in government is to enable, is to support, is to empower. What Langa and Sekha, you just need to keep leading. And I think what we're failing to do is we're failing to give more space to our young people to lead. Perhaps it's our history as a country where we come from. Other parts of the world, you see prime ministers and presidents who are 34 years of age. Sarah Marin, who just retired from Finland, was 34 when she was a prime minister in Chile. The president there, I think, is 35, for that matter. It's not abnormal. But for some reason, as a country, again, perhaps of our legacy, we see it as being abnormal. In time, this will change. This will change because we need solutions to problems in society. If you can provide solutions, we will give you the space to lead. And I think that's where we're going as a country. So youth should not be raised, they should be nurtured. And I think that, Mr. Zulu, what you've done is you've nurtured, not raised. Because when we raise young people, we put them into a straitjacket. You should become a doctor, lawyer, and accountant. You should set goals that other people have set and be measured according to that. But every young person is their own unique possibility. They can become limitless. We have taught our young people to set targets according to someone else's goals, as opposed to telling youth that dream, be limitless, find new markets, find new things. You'll make mistakes. That's part of being a young person, for that matter. But when our young people make mistakes, we throw them in the dustbin, as if they're some commodity. Innovation. I was hoping, Langa, you would have innovation to innovate. Here, I was looking for it. But one of the reasons why the chemical CHIETA, we say innovating for impact. Innovating is a verb. It's not a noun, meaning to give rise to change, to introduce new things. But what innovation means is 9 out of 10 times you will fail. But the one thing you get right is the one thing that makes an impact. And that's what we're aiming for at the chemical CHIETA. So certainly I think what we need to do is to encourage more nurturing and empowerment. And if we are to do this, we will compete globally. And I mentioned about telling our young people to become doctors, lawyers, and accountants. We talked about research, Dr. Ellenson, the research from the World Economic Forum, the 10 fastest growing jobs. None of them include any of the traditional professions. In fact, the fastest growing job, locally and globally, is that of an AI and machine learning specialist. It also includes robotics engineers. It includes data scientists, data analysts. Yet our traditional system is not teaching or creating pathways for these type of fastest growing jobs that we see, which the research is telling us that we should be looking into. So what we see today is what I refer to as the robotification of the economy. Big word, I know, but what do I mean by that? Well, the fourth industrial revolution, I know many of us talk about it, no one actually understands it or what it means. But what it actually means is that around 2013, we had this smart factory, and Amazon was the first to introduce it, where you have digital or the cyber world coming together with humans, so robots working together with people in a factory. Today, Amazon employs 500,000 robots that actually handle 1 billion packages that actually land up in some of our own homes today. And that's the cyber-physical mass production system. That's what the fourth industrial revolution actually means, where you now have people and robots in synergy working together. So a robot and a human being can work together, and the possibilities are endless. And that's really what we're talking about when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. So this increasing use of robots is expected to have a significant impact on our economy, and especially in the chemical and manufacturing industries. And that's why we are getting involved with AlgoAtWork and others. What will this mean for the future of workers and job creation? Well, let's talk about the research again, Dr. Ellenson. Well, the World Economic Forum released some research earlier which said that 83 million jobs will be lost, such as admin clerks and lawyers. I'm apologizing if there's any lawyers here, but I think you need to consider a new profession. But 95 million new jobs will be created. Right? So 83 million will be lost, but 95 million new jobs will be created. And these are your robotic engineers, Langa. These are your social media influencers. So what we're actually saying is hello to the social media influencer and goodbye to the lawyer. That's all we're saying. It's a reality that we need to face. Radiologists, unfortunately, we need to consider a new career because AI will be able to do a better job than you will. And it will be cheaper and work 24 hours as well. So yes, there will be more jobs. So in essence, what I'm suggesting as per the research is that less jobs will be lost, more jobs will be created. And so what that means is we will need to reskill and upskill. We will need to enter into a new world, but we need to start now. One of the things we do wrongly in the country, I believe, is when we identify a problem, we start in 2030 to say, oh, okay, now we need to start. We need to start now for 2030. So we need to then develop, so when the actual demand peaks, we should already have our own talent pipeline. What happened at Medupi and Kusile is we imported coded welders from Southeast Asia because we never planned to have those coded welders. We never trained for them. We knew it was coming, we waited for it, but when it came, we were not ready. We should avoid that. And so the robotics revolution is at the doorstep of Africa. But African countries, including ourselves, we are far behind the curve. So if you look at countries like Korea, they have a robot density, which is the number of robots per employee, of 1,000 industrial robots for every 10,000 employees. Now, someone asked the question as to why are we so far behind? If you look at a grade 3 learner in South Korea, their show and tell is to produce a fully functional robot. That's what they have to do at a level of grade 3. So by the time they get to grade 12, they have vast experience in robotics. By the time they enter a TVET college or university of learning, they know the basics because they've been practicing. We are still having show and tell to bake a cake. You must come to school. There's nothing wrong with that. But we must also diversify. We need to look at the real world of robotics. So what we then need to do is to ensure that we look at aspects of the curriculum at the basic education level as well, not at the higher education level only. In the chemical industries, we are going to employ 29% more robots by 2030. 29% more robots. So you're talking about companies like Fosco, right here. We're talking about companies like Aspen, Unilever, going down in KZN, who I'm told was using drones for stock taking already at some point in time. So this is not a far-fetched utopian fantasy. Look at our companies right now. They are starting to use more and more technology. In Aspen, in the Eastern Cape, their plant is using automated packaging. More and more robotics, autonomous robots that we mentioned, are on the factory floor. So if you enter the workplace and you do not know how to use a device, to our young people, you are already on the back foot. If you do not know how to use any form of digital communication, so if you are not digitally literate, Prof. Adukin, I fully agree with you, you are already at a disadvantage. And globally, we may find companies importing skills from abroad if we don't close this gap. So for this reason, what are we doing as the Chemical CHIETA? Well, we'll be introducing a robotic station in every Smart Skills Center that, to ensure that our workers understand and relate to robotics in the workplace, so that you can see and experience an autonomous robot, not when you enter higher education, but at grade 1 and even basic education level. Now, what is the purpose of a Smart Skills Center? Well, the Smart Skills Center, the problem we are trying to address is the widening digital skills gap. So the gap between urban and rural is widening in terms of digital skills literacy that Prof. Adukin mentioned. And this is a big problem. And so this Smart Skills Center is meant to introduce infrastructure in deep rural communities to bridge this gap. It's going to have basic digital literacy skills so that when TVETs and universities get young people, they get fully baked youth, not half-baked youth that Mr. Dimba was talking about. You have basic levels of skills that you can then build on as a TVET or institution of higher learning. So the first, and we're going to have 9 of these Smart Skills Centers, 1 in every province by 2025. We have launched the first one. It's in Saldanha Bay with the Saldanha Bay IDZ, fully functional, fully booked. People are using them on a daily basis. It has free access to data. So you cannot, because we make the assumption that everyone has data. It's a wrong assumption. Not all of us have data. We make the assumption that everyone has access to a computer. That Smart Skills Center addresses that wrong assumption by creating an opportunity to go and use a laptop or a computer for the first time. But it also has robotics, virtual reality technologies, which you can go and experiment with, see how it feels, what does it mean, etc. Now, the first one was launched, as I said. The second one, and I'm very excited to announce this, will be launched right here in KZN. It's going to be the largest Smart Skills Center in the country. It will be opened by the Minister for Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Blade Nzimande, on the 28th of June. It's in Babanango. Now, Babanango is deep rural. So we are targeting deep rural communities so that the rural communities are not left behind in the robotics revolution or the digital revolution. And so you will have Babanango having the largest Smart Skills Center in the country. Mtashana TVET College, if they're here, Prof. Dimba has already given us the entire hall that is opposite the Department of Social Development. It's already being fitted with 30 internet training pods, 3 robotic stations, 2 virtual reality stations, free access to data, as I said, free access to basic digital literacy skills, as well as advanced courses. So you can take a course at the University of Johannesburg from Babanango and be accredited there. And you will get your certificate emailed to you, so Langa will put it on his LinkedIn profile to say, here's my certificate, I'm accredited by, or even IBM for that matter, as a data scientist through a center in Babanango. You do not have to travel long distances and spend money that you don't have for that matter. So this is how we are bridging the digital skills divide. 9 Smart Skills Centers, and I said the first one. Now, youth unemployment is at 43% in the country. This is a ticking time bomb. We can't afford this. So it's a major problem, and what we are doing, we are making a scratch on the surface currently. So we're doing a lot of good work, but it's scratching the surface. We need to make a dent on this picture. And the way to make a dent is for each one of us to make our contribution, and then to have an entity or perhaps a government or civil society coordinate these contributions so that there's less fragmentation towards addressing this goal of youth unemployment. So what are we doing as a chemical CHIETA? What's our contribution? Well, last year we supported about 18,542 learners with some kind of service to better their lives. This year we are expecting to support about 38,000, and this will include more bursaries and scholarships for robotics, AI and big data. It will also include more career guidance at schools for new and unique opportunities such as robotics engineers. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, no one taught me about a robotics engineer as well. You know, I was told, look, you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. You must choose. Which one is it that you're going to be, right? But no one taught me about an air traffic controller or a robotics engineer. Now, we need to encourage our young people. So we're going to have more career guidance, and we welcome more schools in Richards Bay to be part of our career guidance program as well. We're going to set up so we've already funded a center for digital transformation. It's with the University of Johannesburg, which is going to drive more research in digital technologies. We put out an advert for that grant funding. 3 universities applied. UJ was successful. But we're also hoping in the future for more institutions in KZN to apply for these grants, and so we can have further collaborations, Dr. Ellinson, that we can do more on the research front. More discretionary grants for organizations such as AlgoAtWork. Now, we are proud that we have funded AlgoAtWork with a discretionary grant of 600,000 Rand for your work in robotics. People want to know, where is the money going? Yeah, there's the money. This is where the money is going to, and we are proud to say that openly and transparently, this is where the money is going to. And we are going to do more to fund these type of programs as CHIETA, as an innovation leader in skills development and training. So we're currently funding 569 young women in STEM programs, but our goal is to contribute to 1,000. Young women in STEM. That's our contribution as a chemical CHIETA by 2025. But perhaps we must add STEAM Prof. Edigon. And I think that's a valuable contribution. That's why my head was down. I was busy typing, Program Director. There's valuable contributions. But I do agree with you. I think it's something we can certainly look at. Ultimately, collaboration is the engine of innovation. We're saying that collaboration is a new form of competition. And I think this collaboration by AlgoAtWorks with BMW, ARM, and the local municipality is something that we can mimic. So we need to do more to develop job creators and less job seekers. And Langa, maybe we need an AI innovation fund, because the statistic that you mentioned, 1,000 of them, none of them are South African. Perhaps we need to look at a fund, an AI sort of innovation fund that CHIETA can establish to support more AI startups. And we'll look at that. And I think, we have an excellent team at CHIETA, which is let's talk more action. So we do things, we get things done, and we start small and see how we can pilot and then bring on collaborators. So perhaps this AI Innovation Fund, using our discretionary grants, we could perhaps look at how do we make sure the next 1,000 does have South African AI startups. Robotics, finally, in conclusion, should have a human face. And this means that we should use robotics to solve social problems facing our country, such as the poverty, the inequality, and the underdevelopment. I was very excited to hear some of this, because that's precisely what we want, using technology to help the differently abled, using technology to address the water problems in the country, using technology to uplift our people out of poverty. And that's when people will embrace technology, when we see change in society. So well done to Langa and AlgoAtWork for using technology to solve social problems. We expect youth to lead. We will support, not the other way around. And again, finally, in conclusion, well done to Langa, Teka, and AlgoAtWork Academy. And let's continue to collaborate and lead the robotics revolution. And as a chemical CHIETA, yes, it's not CHIETA, it's CHIETA, or the chemical CHIETA. We'll definitely be here to support you all the way. Thank you, Program Director.